And joining me live from Boston, Mass, to recap what happened yesterday there at the Garden as the Boston Celtics won by double digits over the Orlando Magic in game one of their best of seven series. This guy does a great job, yes, covering the Magic for Orlando Magic Daily. He's my great friend, Phillip Rossman-Reich. How you doing, buddy?
Happy Patriots Day. I think that's what they say up here.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even think about that, where they're going to play baseball early in the day, and then
It's marathon day, baby.
yeah, that is
Gonna go out
right.
for a jog a little bit later here.
We were just talking about this off air. It's kind of weird. So you played game one yesterday on Easter. Then game two's not till Wednesday. So I know you're there covering the team. Are they just going to stay there in Boston for practice?
Yeah, they're hanging out here in Boston for the week essentially until they'll fly home after Wednesday's game. I'm here till Thursday, so I'm here for the week. There's no point in them kind of shuttling back and forth. You just kind of settle in, unpack your bag. I unpack my bag, and you just kind of sit here for the duration and see where things take you. Obviously, disappointing start to the trip on Sunday, but I think Orlando still feel like they have something to show and something to prove here in game two.
All right, let's recap yesterday. The Magic were leading in half, and then what adjustments did Boston make, especially in that third quarter?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing they made was they decided they were going to be physical. Like they looked at how the game was being called and said, we can't be afraid to hit these guys. Like I think there was a little bit of fear and a little bit of hesitation to be a super physical team because Orlando is so good at getting to the foul line. And like that's one of the few advantages the Magic have in this series, is statistically at least, Orlando was second in the league in getting to the foul line. Boston is like in the 20s. So winning the foul line was a big part of the series. But when you look at that first half, not a lot of fouls were being called. And I think the Magic are okay with that because they want to be physical. And I think the Celtics kind of looked at it and said, we can't be afraid to hit this team back. If they're not going to call fouls on their end for the hitting that they're doing to us, we can't be afraid to do that too. And that's, I think, when Boston really upped their defensive intensity, upped their ball pressure, really made the Magic uncomfortable. And knowing Orlando is going to struggle to score and struggle to create some scoring opportunities, that's where they created turnovers and created areas for them to get out and run before the Magic could get their defense set. And I think, Orlando can look at this game and say, we made a lot of the mistakes that cost us in this game. It wasn't necessarily what Boston did, although Boston did a lot. But Boston decided we're going to be the dominant team in this half, and that's, I think, what changed the game.
I was not shocked by the outcome yesterday.
No.
I was going to ask you, why were you not shocked by it?
Yeah, I mean, look, I was shocked by it because I did expect the Magic to be competitive, but I expected kind of the slow burn where, if Orlando made the mistakes that they made, there'd be a lull offensively where the Magic just don't score enough. And that would enable Boston to kind of race ahead and run past them a little bit and kind of get out into the lead and pull away. That's kind of what I expected. It's just unfortunately the way that this Magic team is constructed and the way this Magic team plays, they don't have the firepower. And so there's, what a lot of this series is going to come down to is when Orlando hits that rut, when they hit that little lull, how far ahead is Boston going to get from them? How many points is Boston going to score during that stretch where Orlando's not scoring? And, I think in the first half, Orlando did a good job of limiting that. Peyton Pritchard had that little run. They went up by 12. Orlando got themselves back, reeled that back in, took the lead at the half. In the second half, Orlando just could not reel them back in and could not find it again. They couldn't find that center and calm again. And that's kind of how this series is going to go. So it was shocking. It was disappointing, but it wasn't necessarily like surprising because I think Sunday's game is how a lot of these games are going to kind of play out.
Yeah, I just felt like Boston, they're going to come out and flex their muscle. We're the champs. We're on national TV. We're going to show people what we got. And you bring up Pritchard had 19. Derek White had 30. But the Pritchard really steps out because 19 points. And I looked at the box score, and I know you did as well. The Magic guards, all of them combined, I think scored 16 points yesterday.
I mean, like beyond that, like let's not dance around the elephant in the room. Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner scored 59 of the 86 points. No other player on the Magic roster scored more than 7 points. No other player on the Magic roster took more than 6 shots outside of Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. Franz Wagner had a 39% usage rate. Paolo Banchero had a 37% usage rate. They were banging their head against the wall and doing everything essentially by themselves. Like the Celtics cut off all kinds of ball movement. And, I think that falls into the Magic's worst habits. When Orlando is at their worst, it is because they're not moving the ball. It is because, Paolo will probably never admit this, but you watch him sometimes and you think he thinks his mid-range jumper is a better shot than an open three from someone else because of how poorly everyone shot. And the Magic didn't shoot poorly last night from three. They made 10 of 27 threes. They were, 37% is a really good three-point shooting percentage. They needed to figure out a way to get more threes. As crazy as that sounds with how this season has gone for the Magic, they need to find a way to move the ball better and get others involved. Paolo was brilliant. Franz was really good as well. But Orlando just kind of found themselves in a hole and they couldn't get themselves out of it. And again, that's an everything. That's an everyone issue.
Well, Boston's a better team. Like I'll admit it. I mean, look, Magic Twitter, I'm just going to say this. They were not happy.
No.
And they should not be happy. You know what's interesting to me?
Well,
go on.
But this is, I mean, I made this point during the game and I think there's two things working. Why we shouldn't be surprised by this. The issues that we saw Sunday afternoon are the issues we expected. like the Magic struggling to get shots, struggling to score, struggling to get anything going outside of Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. We know that's a shortcoming of the roster. I think it's been really difficult now for a little while to kind of separate what this team is capable of doing and what this team has to do from understanding that, yes, there are changes that need to be made. It's been really hard to separate the offseason discussion from the Magic are in the middle of a playoff series. Like this, the only thing that should matter right now is what's happening right now. And yes, Orlando has to be perfect. Like Boston is the kind of team that will make you pay for every single mistake and usually make you pay with a three. And if the Celtics hit a bunch of threes, Orlando's toast. They can't keep up with the three-point shooting. They have to limit the three-point shooting. And again, they held them to 37 attempts. That's pretty good for Orlando, and pretty good for Boston. If Boston's not getting 43s in game, Orlando has a chance. They made them, but a lot of those were because of fast break opportunities. Kickouts off offensive rebounds. A lot of things the Magic cannot have happen. The Magic did not play well Sunday. Plain and simple.
No.
They did not play well. They don't have a chance if they don't play well.
I just want to say the Twitter, I'm just saying the Magic fans in general. Okay, some of them are critical of Coach Mosley. And look, that's any coach in any sport, right? You get that. It's not the players, it's Jeff Weltman. Is what you're trying to say. Like hey, why don't you get us better firepower?
This is an injured roster. Like Jalen Suggs and Mo Wagner would help a ton in this series.
Yes.
Let's not pretend otherwise. But B, this is a deeply flawed roster. And I've been talking to Magic fans all morning. I've been talking to Magic fans since the game ended. It is a roster that needs an overhaul, that needs some players flipped over, needs to address needs. It's a roster that a lot of the bets that the Magic made did not pan out, whether it was investing in shooting in Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. And KCP has shot better over the last month and a half, 6 weeks. His defense, I thought, was excellent in Sunday's game. I know I got my stat sheet in front of me here, so if I look over, he made 2 threes, scored 6 points. Like, I didn't hate what Kentavious Caldwell-Pope did. The Magic need to get him more shots. Like, that's part of the issue is they need to find ways to get him more involved. And that's a Jamal Mosley issue, maybe, that the Magic haven't found creative ways to keep him involved in games, and he's gone in and out of usage and in and out of his field goal attempts. But the Magic didn't see kind of the growth they needed to see from some of their young players. Like, this is a series where we're going to learn a lot about Anthony Black.
I agree.
The Magic need Anthony Black to be very good. Corey Joseph, I thought he played fine for what he is. He used his fouls very economically, but the Celtics are targeting him. Cole Anthony. A lot of Boston fans were scared of Cole Anthony and his scoring burst and what he can do scoring-wise. But every time I read one of those, I was sitting there thinking, Cole Anthony's scoring is not going to matter because Boston's going to target him on defense and really make him work. And Cole played only 10 minutes because the Magic couldn't have him out there for very long. the only guard the Magic have that fits the switching scheme the Magic want to use to defend the three-point line is Anthony Black. And Anthony Black was better in the second half than he was in the first half. I think it was definitely like a little playoff jitters. His first real playoff game. He didn't play much in last year's postseason. Anthony Black's going to be really important. And so it's a kind of symbol for all the internal growth the Magic hope to have this year that they haven't seen. They've had a lot of guys not have good seasons. And that was a bet the Magic made that did not pan out this year.
We're at the Phillip Rossman-Reich Orlando Magic Daily. He is there in Boston, getting ready for game 2 coming up on Wednesday night. Look, I said that last night on TV, dude. It's Anthony Black. He was the 6th pick in the draft. They went in all on him. Didn't he start yesterday as well?
No, Corey Joseph still started.
But he came in early in that first quarter.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, look, I got my stat sheet over here to my left. So
all
I'm
right,
looking over there. Corey Joseph played 26 minutes. Anthony Black played 13:45. Like, Anthony Black is going to finish games for the team. Like, they know they need his defense. They trust his three-point shooting a little bit more. But second quarter especially, AB caught the ball, had an opportunity to shoot, and didn't. And again, that's a problem throughout the roster, is there is this general hesitation to shoot, to attack, to score. And that's what the Magic are missing most right now. They need to find ways to attack outside of Paolo and Franz to keep the Celtics defense honest.
There was a play, I'm trying to think, was it third quarter where Franz is bringing up the ball? I think Holiday's on him, strips it. I think Franz fumbles it, and it goes the other way. And you could see Franz, like you said at the top here, Phillip, him and Paolo are doing so much that I think they're just exhausted from trying to do everything.
They had 9 of the Magic's 15 turnovers. And a lot of those turnovers, like there was that turnover where Holiday picked Franz at the top of the key, and look, Drew Holiday is still an excellent defender.
Yes.
That's going to happen once or twice. It's going to happen once or twice in the series. What the problem with that play was that it led directly to a 3. That Franz sunk in the paint too deep, and Holiday was able to hit a 3. You almost, like in those situations, would rather concede the 2 than the 3, and it goes against your brain. It goes against what your brain wants to happen. But you almost have to be willing to say, like, if they get a fast break and it's a 2-pointer, so be it. That's fine. The thing that kills you is the 3-point shooting, because you can't make. It's tougher to make up the threes, especially if you're a team like the Magic. What a lot of those turnovers though were Paolo and Franz trying to get others involved, and because Boston's able to collapse the paint on them, it's become an issue for them to get up the hill and get there.
What was the post-game news conference like with Paolo after he put up that amazing performance?
I mean, I think he was disappointed and frustrated, but still pretty even-keeled. I think the Magic understood, not necessarily that they could have won the game, but they understood this was a game that was ripe for the picking, and they could have been competitive. And I think they were more disappointed in themselves and frustrated with themselves than anything else. But at the same time, like, you could sense a maturity in this group that I don't think, but it certainly wasn't there last year. They understand this is just one game. They understand that there is still a series to go. They were never going to sweep the Celtics. So I think they understand that there's still more work to do, and that this series is far from over. And so I think there is a determination now to get back to work. They did some good things. They're going to hold on to those things. They're going to work to improve the things that they didn't do well on, and look to get back on the horse Wednesday in game 2 and see if they can steal a game in Boston. I think they ultimately know that the series doesn't really start till the road team wins. I think they feel confident that they can come home and pick up those games. I think they feel confident in their strategy and their game plan and what they're trying to do with this Boston team. I think they're very confident that their defense is going to give them a chance. They know they can't make the mistakes that they made in game 1 if they want to win this series.
I agree with you. And real quick, and I appreciate coming on, do you feel like Tatum, whatever happens with his wrist, and then you got Jaylen Brown, I didn't think they played well in game 1. No. Do you think those two are going to come out? We're going to start scoring now on the Magic. Those two.
I think they're going to try. I turned to the other Orlando reporters at halftime and was like, with the way the stats are looking and the way this game is going, this might be the game they had to get. You're probably not going to get another bad Jason Tatum game. He was 1 for 8 from 3, 8 for 22, and you kind of have to live with Jason Tatum. They did a really good job forcing him to mid-range jumpers. He was actually, I think, 5 for 15 or 5 for, 5. He did not have like 5 for 18 through 3 quarters. The dam kind of broke in the fourth quarter a little bit. I think that the Magic have a really good game plan to force Tatum and force Brown into the kind of offense they don't want to run, which is that a little more ISO heavy. Like their defense is set up probably as good as any team in the league to really bottle up Boston in a way that makes them uncomfortable. It's going to be unclear. Like there's going to be a game where Tatum just hits shots. Like he hits tough shots, and that's what happens. The Magic can't expect that to happen. Can't expect Tatum to play this poorly again. They're going to have to really be on their toes. And they have to find the offense to sustain. Like none of this matters if the Magic can't score. And like, I expect Powell to have another 30-point game. I expect Franz to be up around 25 per game. The Magic need somebody else to help them. They need to reduce their mistakes. They need to make this game a slog and a low-scoring game. That's their only chance. They did a lot of those things on Sunday, and it's very clear Boston can be better just as much as it's clear Orlando can be better.
Well, whatever happens, at least they didn't lose by 51 points.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's like, hey, like as we were watching the end of that Memphis Oklahoma City game, we're like, the bar for embarrassment is very low here. Like we should like the Magic are not going to be the most embarrassing team no matter what happens today.
That game next Friday, or I'm sorry, this upcoming Friday.
Yeah,
the place is gonna be rocking and rolling. It's coming up. All right,
it's gonna be a wild. Please. If I don't know if it's sold out yet. Magic fans, you need to fill that building. There's going to be a hefty amount of green. It needs to be their house. Like they're going to need it. They're going to need that lift. And it's going to be big.
Was it cool? I'll just end with this. Was it cool being in the building yesterday?
Yeah, no, TD Garden was very, very cool building. Very, very, very cool. You can feel a little bit of the history. Like the banners are on the other side of the court near where the Magic sit, which was a little weird. I was like, I wanted to like kind of be mesmerized by them, but honestly, like that might have been part of it was the Magic had to get their bearings and kind of let the lights dim a little bit to being in that building. Like everyone knows the history in that building and the history of this franchise. That is part of the mystique of playing against Celtics.
They played well that whole second quarter. I think if I go back to the Atlanta game they won to clinch the 7th, they played well for 2.5 quarters. I think they can win Wednesday night. They got to play. They got to play
better. Quarters. Like they weren't good. They weren't good enough. And again, like if there is a silver lining, and I don't want to take credit away from Boston and their defense because they were a big part of it. If there is a silver lining, there is a lot of things the Magic did poorly that they can correct. Like honestly, I think I would look at game 1 and say the Magic lost this opportunity more than Boston beat them. Like Boston took advantage of all the mistakes. Orlando cannot afford to hand Boston points and possessions. With the turnovers, with the second chance points, with the free throws, Orlando handed Boston points. That cannot happen if they want to win this series.
What?
You froze up on me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know we're recording. I'll edit it. We're here with Phillip Rossman-Reich, Orlando Magic Daily. Thank you so much for your help. Have fun there in Boston, and good luck with your coverage for game 2, all right?
I appreciate it, Mark. Thank you.